Hey everyone, it is Dani and welcome to this update video. I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day thus far. And so of course, as you would have seen from the thumbnail of this video, we actually had our first storm develop this season already, and that was confirmed yesterday by the National Hurricane Center. And so I'm going to be going into depth with this, as well as cover the latest on what is happening across the Atlantic, as well as what is expected in terms of the rainfall for the Caribbean. And so before I go into details, please do subscribe if you haven't yet done so, and tap the notification bell so that you never miss an important update. Okay, so you might be wondering, what storm am I talking about? So let us go ahead and go back a couple of months. So this was actually in January. Now, a low pressure area actually developed off the northeastern coast of the US. Here's the meteorological track of it. And it even had this satellite presentation that made it seem to be a subtropical storm. However, it was not designated as one. And even some meteorologists were claiming that this was a subtropical storm, and it wasn't until after the reassessment done that yesterday was confirmed that this was in fact the first storm of the 2023 season. So because of that occurrence, it made this year the first since 2016 to see a storm develop so early, because Alex back then developed in January as well. So if you're curious about the naming of this, no, this is not Arlene, so the name Arlene is still unused. It wasn't initially designated as a storm, so it remains unnamed, but it's just that it became the first storm of the 2023 season. So here we are having the preseason activity resuming, and let's wait and see if later this month we could see something else pop up. If you're curious to hear more about it or read more about it, I will be linking the article in the description of this video, so you can go ahead and check it out. But now let's go ahead and talk about what is happening across the Atlantic and the Caribbean. So going on to the satellite imagery here, we can see that there is some activity noted across some areas. Along the edge, of course, we have lots of convective activity, and that has been a continuous occurrence. Over in the eastern Caribbean, we can see some activity moving out toward the east, and we have, of course, that front out there. We see lots of showers and thunderstorms in the vicinity of Cuba, as well as over into sections of Central America, and of course we've got some activity going on in the US. So let's take a closer look at the region, but we're going to be starting out with northeastern South America. And here we can see that there's lots of cloud cover and showers, maybe even thunderstorms across some areas, where we see those areas of those sparkling white dots, and that is indicating lightning strikes, and of course thunderstorms within those areas. And of course, the more we have those blacks, that is where we find lots of showers taking place as well. So that is an occurrence in parts of Brazil right now. And of course, as we look at Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, we're not seeing that kind of activity taking place, but likely some showers across some areas, maybe even some light thunderstorms. But it's a bit of a continuous occurrence of seeing this rainfall induced by the intertropical convergence zone. Now let's move over more into the Caribbean and have a closer look at what is going on. So we've got the development of some thunderstorms in the basin as well, in the vicinity of Cuba, yes, but also down into parts of the southwestern basin. We see some activity developing, and going over into the eastern Caribbean, as I mentioned earlier, we've got some activity moving through the region toward the east, and all that could induce some shower activity. And actually, in a previous updates video, I believe it was around 2 days ago, when I spoke about the expected increased rainfall for parts of the northern Caribbean and also the vicinity of the Bahamas and Florida, that is what we're seeing now. So that was forecasted, and now here we see it playing out. And in terms of the rainfall, let's go on to what the euro and icon have to show, beginning with the euro. And so as we go ahead and take a look at this map here, the more colorful it becomes, the higher the rainfall total expected. And of course, we can see that throughout most of the Caribbean, as we're going to be heading throughout today, and even go into all of Central America, there is some rainfall activity on the horizon, or at least that is what the Euro model is expecting. And then, of course, for northern South America. But for some of the islands over in the Lesser Antilles, you guys might not experience much rainfall, especially the Windward Islands, and also including Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago. But on the ABC Islands, very unlikely that you guys are going to be receiving rainfall throughout today. And then going to the icon, it is sort of in agreement with this, showing some lower totals for some areas, but generally some increased activity across the across sections of the basin. Still seeing that the ABC Islands are not expected to receive any rainfall at all. So if you're there and you've been longing for some activity, unfortunately that is not on the horizon for you guys. But for the Northern Caribbean, for parts of the Western Caribbean and the Northeast, it is likely that some of you guys will be receiving some activity, especially as we're going to be heading into later today. So that is what is happening in terms of that. And the Saharan dust is still there in the Caribbean. There is still some quantity of that dust, so you might be experiencing some hazy skies right now as a result. It's not a very dense plume that is located in the region, but it is still there. And that is pretty much it for what is happening right now, guys. So I hope that you found this video to be quite informative. And I also want to mention the fact that for this coming Sunday, I won't be posting a countdown video to the hurricane season. However, it will be posted on Monday, the 15th instead. So instead of Sunday, it will be on Monday. So just take a note of that, guys. But I'll be posting, of course, a regular update video on Sunday. And that is pretty much it for right now. And so I hope that you found this video to be quite informative. However, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments, and you can also share your thoughts there. And of course, remember to always be weatherwise.